Do you have a personal brand? Guess what? The answer is 100% yes. Whether you like it or not, you are a brand. You're not an employee, you are a brand. You are a business of one, you are a service provider. And that means you have a brand that you need to market. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, but not being intentional about your personal brand in 2025 is still sending a message. See, when you don't take ownership of your personal brand, when you don't curate your very own personal brand, what it says is you're not tech savvy or you're not intelligent enough to know how to do this. And I know you all are that smart. You're intelligent enough, but that's the message it's sending, right? When you don't care about your brand, okay, it says, well, maybe they're not smart enough to know about caring for their brand. It also can say that there's nothing special about you. There's nothing unique about you. There's nothing valuable about you, right? So if you're not spreading a brand message because you are of no value, I know that's not true. You all have value. I talk about your UVA, your unique value out all the time. But if you're not putting a brand out there, if you're not curating a personal brand, nobody knows that. And the third one, and I think the one that is really scary, is it can come across like you've got something to hide. Not creating a personal brand can be like, I'm trying to fly under the radar screen because maybe I'm not employable or I've got problems. Do you want to send that message? So when you don't choose to embrace your personal brand, when you don't curate and work on your personal brand, you're still sending a message, which is why I say all the time, brand or be branded. Let that sink in for a minute. Brand or be branded. Choosing not to take ownership of your brand means the brand gets created for you. And as I just pointed out, it can be a lot of negative messaging. Are we all in agreement there? Okay. But let's talk about why personal branding in 2025 is becoming so important. And it has to do with what we're on right now. Social media and the rise of social media for our careers. Social media and platforms are replacing the resume. Every single day, I am talking to both recruiters and talent who've told me, gee, the recruiter didn't even ask for my resume anymore. Or the recruiters are like, I'm not accepting resumes anymore. And it's because resumes are dead. There's too many fake resumes out there. There's too many people using ChatGPT to make stuff up. So recruiters no longer trust them. They have zero trust in the resume, in the written resume. Instead of reading resumes, they're scrolling platforms like LinkedIn. They're using the very expensive technology that LinkedIn's built to let them go through the 1.1 billion profiles on their platform and find people that are a match for the jobs that they're looking to hire for. It is no longer a smart practice to post a job and hope that thousands of people will apply. It's broken on both sides. It doesn't work that way anymore. And so companies, and specifically recruiters, are seeking out the personal brands of the talent that they could hire. And what they need from you is evidence, is proof that you know what you're talking about and that you can add value. That's what it's all about. That's what personal branding is. It is the marketing of the benefits of your business of one. Does that make sense? I want you to think about this for a second. Imagine you live in a town and there's like a shopping mall, okay? And there was a space that was empty for a while. And all of a sudden one day you notice, just by accident, because you're driving by, that there's a company in there. There's no sign, right? There's nothing in the windows talking about what they do. You don't hear about it in town anywhere. It's not in any of the local stuff. And then a couple months pass by and you realize they're gone again. Would you feel sorry for them if you heard that they went out of business because they didn't have any customers? No. Because your first reaction would be, well, they didn't market themselves. Nobody knew they existed. Exactly. Right now, there's a good number of you here. Nobody knows you exist. You are. And applying online doesn't solve for that. You have to build and distribute your personal brand. You have to provide that documented evidence about your skills and abilities so that you can be found. Can I get a heck yeah? Can I get a yes? Can I get a thumbs up over here on TikTok? Do you get what I'm saying? Can you all start to really wrap your head around that? You know, the online application system and using a resume was built for a totally different time. Back at the early phase of the internet, it was a very novel concept. Even resumes were built because you went and showed up and dropped your resume, your piece of paper resume off at a company so they knew you existed. That was your marketing plan. Okay. You went on foot. Then they were like, no, 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 we don't want you coming in our offices anymore. Why don't you send it through the internet? Okay. But that's all gone and dead now. Now they want to discover you. They want to proactively go find you based on their criteria. Just like you get on the internet and do a search, and we've all gotten a lot better over the years of what we're searching for so that we can put in criteria to fine tune the results. That's what recruiters are doing on LinkedIn. And once you understand that, you can start to build a personal brand that will get their attention. All right. So I think we're all on the same page, right? That's really the key. Now, I want you to think about, well, if I understand, JT, that I need a personal brand, what goes into it? What's involved in it? And that's a wonderful question. That is a big part of what we do at Work It Daily, because every single day we're teaching people how to pull the brand out of themselves so they know what to market. Okay. Now, as I've told you, the number one tool and where everyone should start, and by the way, it's 100% free, no credit card, is the Unlock Your UVA tool. This is the AI tool that I worked with a team of experts on to help you understand what your unique value add is. That's your benefits. That's the value that somebody would pay you for, that you want to market about yourself. So if you've never unlocked your UVA before, that's where you start today. And you will find that inside our free platform, right? The free resource center. So if you're already a member, just go re-log in. If you're not a member, go over to workitdaily.com and you will, and there's probably some links down here too, but go to workitdaily.com. You'll see free resource center. Go in there. Again, no credit card required, no gimmicks, I promise you. Because that Unlock Your UVA tool is going to help you understand what you need to market about yourself. That's where we all start. Does that make sense to everybody? You have got to unlock your UVA. There is no sense marketing yourself and curating a personal brand if you are not marketing the things that are of value that you want to be selling, right? Because you don't want to go do a job that doesn't interest you. You don't want to go do a job that doesn't play to the strengths and the things that would make you feel satisfied and successful. So until you unlock that about yourself, you don't know what to market. And that is your first step. Everyone here today should be unlocking their UVA with the Unlock Your UVA tool inside our free resource center. End of story. Okay. It's going to be so enlightening to you if you do that. Right? Well worth the whopping 3 minutes it will take you to go through the AI tool and for it to literally pull it out of you. It's fascinating. It's rooted in 20 years of work. I teamed up with them. They took 20 years of my work and built this incredible tool that replaces me. Like if you and I did this session one-on-one, just so you know, it would cost you $500 to do a one-on-one Unlock Your UVA session with me. And I'm telling you that an AI tool has literally replaced me. It does it for free. It's insane, but it's one of the things that gets me most excited about AI is its ability to do that. So that's where I want you to start. Okay. Now, if this is really making sense to you and you are like, I think I want to understand like how this like voice comes out, then I've got great news for you, because the future is going to be you sharing what we call your pro voice, right? Your professional voice, your knowledge and expertise. And if that makes sense to you, I've got incredible news. I'm going to be doing a free training on how to use your pro voice on LinkedIn, right? So vitally important right now. I'm going to link it in the chat right now here on this live. You're going to find it also down below. If you're watching the recording, it's probably down below. This is going to be live. If you can't attend live, it's okay, because as you will see, if you can't attend live, you can still claim your spot and we'll send you the recording post session. All right. So if you can't go live on the date listed here, it's okay, because it will be available. Anybody that claims their spot will get the recording. And the reason that you want to go to this session, folks, is I'm going to show you how to go from being overlooked to in demand, right? I'm going to walk you through it, and I'm going to teach you something called the GLOW method. The GLOW method is what I've been using for 20 years to help people gain perspective, illuminate the goal, own their actions, and work it daily so that they can absolutely put their pro voice out there. Right? That is the key. And it's totally free to do. So if you haven't already signed up for this event, today's your day, because I'm going to show you how to use that pro voice. Because once you start realizing the power of it, you'll never want to go back. I'm telling you right now. It is so powerful. So be sure to grab that link and sign up and save your seat, because this is the session where I'm really going to break it down for people. And this is rooted in so much experience, folks. I have been doing this, I think you know, for a long time, but I'm going to be sharing some pretty incredible examples of how I've trained people to use their pro voice, how people that I've taught have gotten raises, have gotten promotions, have had companies create positions for them, all based on them using their pro voice on LinkedIn. I have been secretly testing this since 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I was told, you know, JT, you can't just teach anyone to have a pro voice. It takes a really special person to be on camera and to do this stuff. And I was like, you're wrong. And they said, prove it. So I started taking private clients and putting them through this training, people who were like, I'll never be on camera, I'll never do that, who are now posting on LinkedIn every day and will tell you they'll never go back, that it's changed their lives. And it's not hard, it's not rocket science, and it doesn't take a lot of time. But until you know how to unlock your pro voice and then how to structure your pro voice and get it out there, I can see it feeling daunting. I think the number one thing people say is, I don't want to be cringy. I don't want to look like a narcissist. I don't want people laughing behind my back. Those are all fair. I would never just poo-poo that. Those are all fair judgments. Your personal brand has to be, you hear about authenticity a lot. It has to match you. And so we need to make sure there's a way for you to put your personal brand out there. I call it curating, kind of like when a museum, they curate a collection of art and they put it all together so that it makes sense. You need to curate your personal brand so that you can come across very authentically. You don't want to be like anybody else. And so this is such a vital, vital part of that. And that's what I'm going to be teaching in this session. Okay. So please, I can't stress it enough. Personal branding is like, it's here to stay. It's non-negotiable. It's literally replacing the resume. I will say this, and a year from now, you will all go, remember that time I heard JT say resumes are dead and that personal branding was going to replace it? And maybe you're going, yeah, JT, people have been saying that for decades. But the current stream of events have created the tipping point. AI has created the tipping point. The mass job loss that's going on right now, the white collar job recession that's happening right now. All of this is creating this moment where resumes are no longer of value. Applying online is no longer effective, and companies don't want to post jobs. Instead, they want to go out, find people, consume their evidence. I'm not going to say content, consume the evidence that they're a potential candidate for the job, and then privately reach out to them. So you are invisible if you aren't curating a personal brand. Does that make sense to everybody? Give me a yes in the comments if that makes sense. And you know, people will dread it and say, oh, sounds like so much work, JT, right? But can I just say something? What you're doing now is wasted work. Applying to 100 jobs online to get ghosted, I mean, that is such a depressing and wasteful use of your time. And the only reason you're doing it is because it's familiar and nobody's told you to do anything differently until today. Today's the day where I'm like, stop. You're literally sitting on the hamster wheel going nowhere fast. Stop. What if you could just carve out a little time per day and learn to personal brand and it wasn't stressful and it wasn't hard? That's what I'm going to break down for you in this free training. Okay, because it's become epidemic. It's a crisis. You are invisible and you are not going to get hired if you're not found. And so the sooner you embrace this and you start curating a personal brand that recruiters can find and consume and make it easier for them to contact you, the better. And I cannot stress that enough. So I appreciate you here, being here and hearing this. In fact, if you're still here and hearing this, you're already a cut apart, because so many people are in such denial about this that the moment they hear this, they just shut it off. So if you're still listening, I know that you understand what I'm saying, which means you're tip of the curl, because it's going to, for millions and millions of people, they're going to have to be in so much pain. They're going to be out of work for such a long time, take jobs that are way underneath, like they're so underemployed, way below where they were before. There's going to be a lot of pain in the next year of people that are in denial about this. You know, I mean, I've had so many people, when I started talking about this a year ago, heavily on this platform, and I had people going, I will never, if I have to use video to get a job, then I don't need a job. And I'm not going to bother to apply to any job that asks that of me. Well, they're changing their tune now, because they have no choice. And so you can't fight what is inevitable. You know, you just can't fight it. And if there's any incentive to do it, folks, like, you want the best opportunities. You want to get paid the most amount of money that you're worth, right? You want a job, a dream job. You want those things. You got to put skin in the game. They're not just going to fall in your lap. There's no career fairy godmother. You've got to decide that your brand is worth it, and you've got to get your brand out there and be like, I'm good, right? I'm all that in a bag of chips. But you've got to do it in a way that doesn't sound narcissistic or cringy. And you got to learn that. That's new. Yeah, really, really important. I'll also tell you, I'm going to be sharing another story today. I'm working with an executive right now, very, very talented C-suite member, very successful. And like most people that are really successful like this, they had a big restructuring. Their company was acquired, and so they were laid off. And they are really struggling at home. They are bored. They are lonely. And so when we started working on this idea of documenting their knowledge, they had a hard time with it. And I said, but you did this all the time. And they said, that's it. You know, I used to be in an environment where people just asked me questions all day long. They needed me to give answers. They needed me to educate. I needed to be able to explain things. But you had this pressure in that you had to be there and support these people. Now I'm just here by myself, turning on a camera, and there's not that added pressure of having to do it. And I said, well, that's even more reason to do it. Because as you start to create and document your knowledge, it's going to bring you back to that feeling that gave you so much confidence in the workplace. So for a lot of you, it's very stressful because it's so isolating, which is another thing you really need to think about, right? You should not be looking for work alone. It is one of the worst things, very detrimental to your job search. It takes a lot longer, but also to your health, because you create a lot of worry and anxiety. And it really hurts you badly. So you shouldn't be in isolation. You should be working in a program or a platform that's allowing you to connect, but you really should be documenting your knowledge as a way to recreate that feeling of success and satisfaction you have when you are working. If you're between jobs right now, you should be tripling down on your personal brand, because that's how you're going to recreate those feelings of, I know my stuff, right? That's such an important part of this. Yeah. I hope that made sense to everybody today. So again, folks, if you didn't already see it, please sign up. I put the link in the chat here today. You'll also find it down below. I'm going to show you how to use your Pro Voice. This is your personal branding, how to distribute your personal brand on LinkedIn. It's a live session. If you can't attend the live date, sign up anyways, because we'll send you the recording. This is going to be the most valuable 45 minutes you invest in learning how to use your personal brand to get what you want in your career. Very, very powerful session. I cannot wait to do it. It's counting down, and I will see you all there. Yes? Awesome. Okay. So I normally do a live broadcast 3 days a week, but I will not be here tomorrow. I am traveling on business. So this is my last podcast for the week. I will be back next week with you all. So I will see you next Tuesday for another live session. In the meantime, go get inside the free platform and unlock your UVA. Step 1 to personal branding. And then be sure to sign up for the Pro Voice session. And together we will curate a personal brand for you that's going to get you results in 2025 and beyond. Okay. Death of the resume. Rise of the personal brand. Awesome. All right, team. Good job. I'll see you soon. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.